Well, in the year of 2011, I felt the prompting in my heart to be willing to go public with my story, that I might be able to be transparent and vulnerable, that I could help other people in their struggles. Hi, my name is Paul LeCompte, and I'm the founder of Go Show and Tell. And God has worked mightily in my life, not the least of which He's helped me overcome a 25-year addiction, for which I am eternally grateful. You know, we have a tradition at my house. Every New Year's Day, our family gathers together and we write down our dreams and goals for the upcoming new year. And then we share last year's, and it's quite an enjoyable time. Well, in the year of 2011, I felt the prompting in my heart to be willing to go public with my story, that I might be able to be transparent and vulnerable, that I could help other people in their struggles. So with great nervousness, I wrote that down on my list and didn't think twice about it after that. 2 days later, the first day back at work, January 3rd, Doug Ross, a longtime client who had become a good friend and learned of my story, brought his dog Taffy in for examination. And on his way out, he stops in the door and looks at me and says, "Hey, Dr. Paul, will you share your story with a group of people at my church?" And I smiled, but deep down inside I said, "God, you're only giving me a couple days, please." Now, we couldn't schedule that for a couple months. And in that couple months, I have to admit that I was really starting to struggle with the thought that I would share some less than flattering parts of my life with some strange people. And I guess pride was kicking in, and I went to God and asked Him if He could really give me some peace and some kind of sign that this was the right thing to do. And the day before we were to meet, my Bible reading led me to the 8th chapter of Luke. And in that chapter, Jesus comes across the guy in the catacombs that was possessed by 2,000 demons. And He casted those out. And the guy was so elated that he goes to Christ and wanted to follow Him. And Jesus said to him, "Go to your people and show the great things God has done for you." So I was really excited. And I went to the book of Mark, which recounted the same story. But the word used in that story was, "Go and tell the great things God has done for you." So that was what I needed. That was the affirmation that I was to go and show and tell the great things God has done for me. It wasn't about me at all. It's about God. And I just am so thankful that He answers you in that moment, and He answered me in that moment. So off I went the next day. We had our meeting. It went well. And I didn't know what would become of this. Would this become a ministry that would last into the years? No, it didn't. But God had planted a seed for Go Show and Tell. So fast forward to today's times. We are living in crazy times. There's so much distress. There's so much fear of COVID. We're losing people like never before to addiction. We have people who are frustrated. They want peace. They want love. They want to know their purpose. We have a world in distress. We have a war against Christianity. It's fine if we use our words inside our walls. And we just seem to be so willing to comply. I know of so many Christians with so many fantastic stories. Why are we so quiet? Why are we quiet at work? And why are we quiet at home? And why aren't we shouting from the rooftops and fulfilling God's great commission? Why are we so quiet? One day I was lamenting with a good friend of mine, and he stopped me in my tracks and he says, "Well, what are you going to do about it, Paul? What am I going to do about it?" So I went to God. "God, what am I going to do about it? Little old me." And over time, He put on my heart that I was to provide a venue that gets these stories out. We are to use our words so that an unbelieving world cannot deny the spiritual realm that exists today. So my hope is that if you are one of those skeptics, that your heart can open a little bit to the possibility that this could be you. That you could ask yourself, what am I missing? And the same that if you are a believer, but you're not experiencing the fruits of the Christianity life, that you might delve deeper into your faith through the Word and a walk with fellow Christians, that you too can enjoy the blessings. So I invite you to join us at Go Show and Tell with your financial support by spreading these stories to anybody and everybody. And if you're so moved to share your story with us, to go show and tell the great things God has done for you. May God bless you and protect you.